What are the deeds that the Prophet ﷺ mentioned equal Hajj? Number one, the most famous and the most common, the Prophet ﷺ said, whoever prays in jama'ah, whoever prays in congregation and remembers Allah from Fajr, so prays Fajr in congregation and remembers Allah until sunrise. So they make dua or they do dhikr, they remember Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in one of the legislated ways. And then they pray 2 rak'ahs after sunrise, Salatul Duha. The Prophet ﷺ said that that person has the reward of Hajj, tamma, complete. The reward of Hajj and Umrah, complete. So that's something that you can do on a regular basis. You could pray Fajr and you could stay until sunrise. And that is the reward of Hajj and Umrah. And that's something that the Prophet ﷺ mentions authentically. Then there are other narrations, all of them authentic. One of them, the Prophet ﷺ said, Man masha ila salatin maktubatin fil jama'ah. Whoever walks to one of the obligatory prayers to pray in congregation. Fahiya kahajja. Then that is the reward of Hajj. وَمَنْ مَشَى إِلَى صَلَاةٍ تَطَوُّعٍ. And whoever walks to pray a voluntary prayer in the masjid, then that is Umrah. And in one narration, the Prophet ﷺ specified Salatul Duha. So if a person one day decides that they want to go to Salatul Duha, or they want to go pray 2 rak'ahs in the masjid, Salatul Duha, or a voluntary prayer, then that is the reward of Umrah. And when a person walks to the mandatory Salah, and the Prophet ﷺ says, that is like a Hajj, complete. Well, what about the other things? And notice they all surround the masjid here, right? The Prophet ﷺ said in another authentic hadith, Man ghada ila al-masjid, la yuridu illa an yata'allama khayra aw yu'allima. Whoever goes out to the masjid, and what they want, the only thing that they want, is to learn something good or teach something good. So both the student and the teacher, when there's a halaqah, and you go out to the masjid, to one of those circles of remembrance. And think about this, by the way, in the age of everything being virtual now, especially post-COVID, right? When things open up and you actually have the opportunity to go and listen to something in person, attend a class live. The Prophet ﷺ said, كَانَ لَهُ كَأَجْرِ حَاجٍ, that person has the reward of a person who went out for Hajj, tamma. And he said, all together, complete. Why does the Prophet ﷺ keep saying tamma? Because you might be thinking to yourself, come on, Ya Rasulullah. Really? The entire Hajj? The Prophet ﷺ is saying the reward of Hajj. Complete. So these are things, subhanAllah, that surround the masjid that a person could do on a regular basis. Praying Salat al-Fajr and staying until Salat al-Duha. Going to the obligatory prayer or going to pray a voluntary prayer, specifically perhaps Salat al-Duha when they have the opportunity to do so. Or a person going to the masjid to learn or to teach. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make that reward accessible to all of us. Allahumma ameen. And then there's one more narration that I want to share with you in this regard, also an authentic narration from Anas ibn Malik radiallahu ta'ala anhu, a powerful narration. He says that a man came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, أتى رجل النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم فقال إني أشتهي الجهاد. He said that I want to go out and fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. I desire to go out and fight for the sake of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, to struggle in the path of Allah. وإني لا أقدر عليه, but I don't have the means to do so. So I can't go out in Tabuk, I can't go out in Hunayn. Ya Rasulullah, I'm unable to do so. What was the answer of the Prophet ﷺ? He said, هل بقي أحد من والديك? Are either of your 2 parents still alive? قال أمي. He said, my mother. The Prophet ﷺ said, فأبلي الله عذرا في برها. The Prophet ﷺ said, then show your closeness to Allah. Come close to Allah with your intention. Strive and struggle by obeying her, by showing her goodness, by giving her good companionship, by serving her. And the Prophet ﷺ, and of course we know that when it comes to jihad, this is the famous narration where the Prophet ﷺ sent the young man back and he said, فَفِيهِ مَا فَجَاهِدْ, then strive in your parents, right? Strive in their favor, that go back to your mother, heaven is under her feet. But here in this particular narration, which is an authentic narration, the Prophet ﷺ says, فَإِنَّكَ إِذَا فَعَلْتَ ذَلِكَ, that if you do what I just told you, if you honor your mother, the Prophet ﷺ said, فَأَنْتَ حَاجٌ وَمُعْتَمَرٌ. You are a person who is amongst those who do Hajj and Mu'tamar. You are one of those who has done Umrah, وَمُجَاهِدْ فِي سَبِيلِ اللَّهِ. So subhanAllah, if one of your parents is alive, Honoring your parent is like jihad and Hajj and Umrah all together. And this is an authentic narration from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam.